Disturbing pictures of the Assam police opening fire on protesters that had blockaded the national highway from Assam to Nagaland. The protesters are from the Karbi Anglong unit of the All Adivasi Students Association of Assam and others. This blockade is part of the ongoing agitation against Nagaland over the incidents that led to arson and killing of several persons along the Nagaland-Assam border last week. We now have on the phone Mr. Gyanendra Tripathi, the Home Secretary of Assam, joining us on the phone line. Mr. Tripathi, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. We know that there's been violence. We know the police are facing an uphill battle, but really explain to us why this incident happened. Why did the authorities, the Assam police, then need to fire point blank, at least from what we can see in our visuals, on these civilians? What was the provocation here?
In fact, you will have to see in a long perspective, because this economic blockade was going on since 13th of August. So 6 days had passed, and some security personnel of Nagaland government, they were also stranded in this economic blockade. So in order to ensure that the communication channels remain open, the administration had to action today in the morning so that the people who were stranded from Nagaland, they could be escorted back safely to Nagaland in order to maintain the communication channel as well as the interstate relationship. After that action, the people gave sudden Bandh call in the Golaghat district, and during the Bandh call, many people targeted the public and private properties. So there the administration had to take action.
All right, so I can understand, because Manipur has already started reeling under the scarcity of essential commodities with all these trucks being stopped. But these protesters, some of them have really been trying to take on the authorities, challenging them, but they've been doing this for days and they don't show any signs of stopping even tomorrow. So what are you going to do to try and ensure that something like this does not repeat again tomorrow?
No, we are always very sure that we follow this path of minimal force, and we never take excessive action. In fact, today, but for the administration's action, the number of public and private properties would have been lost. So that is one thing. The second thing, that one footage which has been shown that some biker was stopped and he was beaten. So we have already taken the action against the erring police personnel in that particular incident.
All right, so the visual that we were showing, action has been taken against those officers. But sir, you said that you will not go overboard with your response. But the visuals we're seeing are of officers firing. Are these blanks? Are they actual bullets? What exactly are they firing at those civilians?
I will just confirm one thing. There are 21 persons of civil and police have been injured in today's incident. And out of those 21 persons, no one has received the gunshot. That is the bullet injury of a gun. So that shows very clearly, though the pictures may show that it was being fired upon the person directly, but it might have been targeted towards the lower limb or towards the ground, because no one has received the bullet injury.
All right, Mr. Tripathi, the Home Secretary of Assam, thank you so much, sir, for speaking to us, giving us your point of view. We appreciate your time. Let's just go across now to Alok Pandey, my colleague. Alok, we just spoke to Mr. Tripathi. He says that he said over 20 people have been injured, but none of them have complained of any bullet wounds. The authorities there, Mr. Tripathi, is saying that the authorities on the ground are using all restraint that they can. What are the reports you're hearing on the ground?
Well, first of all, to say that at the moment the report that we are getting from that area is that the situation is under control but continues to remain tense. So the police and the administration are trying their best to ensure that any further disturbance does not take place. Also, to give you an idea of the geography of this region, this particular highway that Mr. Tripathi was talking about and that we have been speaking about is a very crucial link to the states of Nagaland and Manipur. So any blockade on this highway also affects Nagaland and Manipur, and that's why keeping it open is a very, very important issue for the governments of Assam, Nagaland and Manipur. At the same time, we've been saying, this has been going on for a while now. The provocation from both sides seems to be very grave. At least from the protester side, we know that they were trying to burn tires. They were assaulting truck drivers in the morning. They were pelting stones on those trucks. And as Mr. Tripathi points out, a lot of public property would have been destroyed had the police not taken action. At the same time, what is a little inexplicable is that while Mr. Tripathi says that these people were not firing at any protester, at least the angle from which we can see these shots and what our people on the ground are telling us is that a lot of this firing also happened at ground level, and while they might not have been intended at one particular person, at the same time the lives of a lot of people could have come under risk had those bullets hit anyone. But thankfully, as Mr. Tripathi points out, no one out of the 21 injured people, not a single person has received bullet injuries, and perhaps the security men were taking care to fire only to the ground or to the lower limb area of these people, as he points out. But at the same time, questions will be raised whether this more restraint could not have been shown, and whether firing was absolutely necessary, whether tear gas, lathicharges, or firing in the air could have worked. But obviously, the people who are on the ground know best about how to control the situation. What we will hope is that the situation diffuses now and there is no further violence in this area, or the police do not have to resort to firing again.